September 22nd, Wright Anything Agency. Welcome back, we're back. Is anybody here? I don't know, but hi Athena. Hi everyone. How y'all doing? Hope y'all doing good today. Oh, hi boss. Athena? I thought you were with Trucy. I guess you could say that I'm taking a short break. But enough about me. What about the investigation? Do you find out anything? Well, it turns out that third person Ellen says she saw at the crime scene might have be Sorin Sprocket. What? Really? I always thought he seemed suspicious. Thing is, by the time Sorin got to the Vista deck, the murder had already concurred, apparently. No way, I don't buy that, not for a second. It's a cover-up, I tell you. That's certainly a possibility. As a lawyer, it's certainly a possibility I have to pursue, but what? It's your job, right? So pursue the heck out of it. Just do it! Yeah, but is that really what's best for Ellen? Sorin could be found guilty if the truth comes out tomorrow. But if we don't pursue this possibility, Ellen could be found guilty instead. Oh man, either way, it sure doesn't spell out happily ever after for the two of them. So what are you gonna do, Mr. Wright? Can't let an innocent person get convicted. Guess all I can do is pursue the truth. If it ends up devastating Ellen. What a tough call to make. Still, there's always a chance, right? Maybe something will come up during the trial that will save their marriage. Hope so, I really do. Well, Maya, let's go. Break the news to Ellen, you mean? Yep. Mr. Wright, please take me with you. I bet I can help you console Ellen through this piece of bad news. Athena, I appreciate the offer, but don't you have somewhere else to be? Do I? Athena, what are you doing here? I've been looking all over for you. Come on now. Let's get back to practicing. No, wait. My body can't take it anymore. Boss, you gotta help me. A lawyer always keeps their promises, Athena. But boss! If you bail on me one more time, Athena, I'm gonna use a real blade on you. Eek! Oh boy, well that's a murder threat there. So what are you talking about? Sorry, Athena, but somebody's gotta do it. Better you than me, though. Hang in there, kiddo. Come on, Maya, we still better get going. Oh yeah, nothing left to do there, huh? Okay. Well, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be really fun. September 22nd. Considering we're talking to her right now, I'm guessing we're probably at the end of the investigation. Attention Center, visitor's room. Hello, Ellen. How did your investigation go, Mr. Wright? Before I answer that, I need to ask you something. Was Sorin with you when Mr. Bloomsbury attacked you in the reception hall? I'm sorry I kept it from you. I was afraid that he'd come under suspicion if I told you. So I kept quiet about it. I'm really sorry. I see. I thought it was probably something like that. Listen, Ellen, I'm afraid I had to make a very difficult decision based on what I found out. What kind of decision? This is very hard for me to say, but the serious person you saw at the scene of the crime was most likely Sorin. What? In other words, in court tomorrow, I'm afraid I have to propose the possibility that Sorin is the true culprit. No! Sorin is innocent! No! But don't you see? If I don't try to pursue that line of thought, you'll be found guilty. No! 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 Please, Ellen, calm down. Ah! Sorin just can't be found guilty. I'd much rather I be found guilty instead. Ellen, you can't just let yourself think like that. But no! Marriage is for life, right? Do you really think you can run away from the truth and still be truly happy with him? Ah! quick! You talk to her! Hey, don't just dump this all on me. Mr. Wright, I'm innocent. Sorin is too. So please, approve our innocence in court! I'll certainly do everything in my power. I just hope she doesn't lose control like this in court tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. Never know. To be continued. Yep. As predicted, the court trial awaits us very soon. Save that game. You know, the more I think about it, I don't think I saved at the end of the last episode. I did not. Well, anyway. It is time, everyone. It is time. It's time for day 2 of the trial to come about. September 23rd, 8:50 a.m. District Court. Defendant's Lobby number 3. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Sorin was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that'll get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the results of today's trial. Nevertheless... Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Sorin is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please, try and get a hold of yourself. Okay, I got a hold of myself. I believe in Sorin with all my heart. So how dare you doubt him? Oh boy. Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today. It's gonna be devastating for Ellen, isn't it? Just to do everything we can, that's the best we can do, you know? The trial is about to begin, Mr. Wright. Alright, let's go, Maya. Yeah! Yeah, let's do this. September 23rd, 9 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 6. Day 2 court is now in session. All rise. Oh yes, let's do it. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. Defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now, where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see Edgeworth at all during the investigation, really. To cover up the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense as usual made a nonsensical claim. Namely that there was a third person present who struck the victim. Objection! Excuse me. Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person. And further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of the third person? Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Sorin Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Gloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Ugh, am I that transparent? Maybe. Come now, Mr. Wright, did you really think that the police wouldn't uncover this information? Congrats on getting it in one, what? Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. Hold it, but... You're wrong. Sorin didn't do it. He's innocent. Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought that your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray.
Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, excuse me. That was my lunch today. Wait, actually, is it in the morning? That was actually my breakfast. I take that back. The prosecution would like to call Sorin Sprocket to the stand.
What?
Very well. Bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand.
I'm still leaning towards Pierce being the one who did it, though. I'm just gonna say, because I don't think we'd be bringing the true killer to the stand this early.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Dot 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 dot. Airplane for the judge.
Oh! There's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Sorin Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviations. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes.
Dot 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 dot.
Now then, Mr. Sprocket. Please tell that doubting lawyer there that what really happened at the time of the crime.
Dot 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 dot.
Well, Mr. Sprocket. Dot 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 dot. Mr. Sprocket.
All right.
Grrr.
Good old angry Edgeworth. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception. When Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. Apparently not, anyway. Apparently not.
Witness testimony. What Sorin remembers.
I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall, and I collapsed to the floor. Next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. When I got there, Dumas was already. I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. A likely story. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? That's right. Dumas was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love? Dot 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 dot.
Objection! Ah, you fool. The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say?
No, I can't believe this, Sorin. I thought that at least you would believe in me.
The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone.
Sorin!
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's so not cool, Mr. Edgeworth.
The court is where we seek the truth, and the truth is unyielding even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. Et tu, Your Honor.
So what are you going to do, Nick? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Sorin, then we have to prove Sorin was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. That we do, that we do.
Cross-examination. What Sorin remembers.
I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall, and I collapsed to the floor. Oh, did you now? Well, I have a feeling you're lying about that anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. Please tell me everything you can about when the witness got stabbed. Yeah, when you got stabbed. After the reception, Ellen and I were enjoying a moment alone in the reception hall. Then Dumas appeared and stabbed me. I grabbed Ellen and the timekeeper and left the reception hall. Did Mr. Gloomsbury say anything at that time? I don't remember. After I was stabbed, I was immobilized by the pain. I see. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck.
Hold it!
Hold it! The Vista deck, huh? But it was nighttime then. Could you really see it Can you really see them in the darkness? The moon was out, so I could see them clearly. From the looks of it, Dumas was trying to push Ellen and the timekeeper off the side.
So you saw the defendant. About to be thrown off the airship, you say?
That's right.
In such a desperate situation, it would only be natural for her to fight for her life. And the murder weapon was right there within her grasp.
This isn't going well at all. I've got to do something fast. What can you do, Phoenix, though? I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck.
Hold it!
I understand that your bride was in danger, but... Were you really able to move with a stab wound to the gut? I was desperately trying to push the pain out of my mind. I see, so adrenaline kicked in and gave you the strength, is that right? I don't see much of anything in this statement I can refute. That's right. I was passed out several times as I made my way to the Vista deck. Very dangerous indeed. When I got there, Dumas was all ready.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. The Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away?
Objection!
Uh-huh.
Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift.
Huh, okay.
No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes.
Well, that's unhelpful. Sorin had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hold than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute, I think Maya's onto something here. Lack of a certain something actually proves that Sorin didn't go to the hold.
What's the matter? Are you stumped already?
Excuse me. No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. No, for a fact, Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. Huh?
You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there?
You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's got to be proof that Sorin didn't go through the hold.
Well, Mr. Wright.
True that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold? Oh, boy. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
How do you... what? You know, from the hold bearing fingerprints from Gloomsbury's dominant left hand. Same with some of the blood found on the lift. But how? How would you do that exactly? I don't really know. A thing I don't get, though, is where would you... I don't understand. It's literally the whole lift. What would prove that he didn't do it? Don't suppose something relating to that, maybe? That'd be really going out there, though. What could you prove, though? What could you prove? I don't really know. Didn't they say that was from the timekeeper? Yeah, so, like, what does that prove exactly? Nothing, right? I don't have a gosh dang clue here. Okay. I don't really know. I do not really know what's going to happen here. I don't know how you prove this wrong. Yeah, it says nothing about any entrances from there. Let's see. After the ceremony out on the Vista deck, Sprocket Aviation, Majestic Peg Move Grass Festival. Flying Chapel, the only one. Does that mean something at all? When Ellen was attacked by Bloomsbury out on the Vista deck, she saw her dazed state. A shadowy figure hit Bloomsbury from behind, fainted immediately afterwards, and thus didn't get a good look at whoever it was. So we back on the struggle train, I see. What could be the answer? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what it could be. It could be anything, perhaps. I don't really know what the answer is. Maybe he flew up to the top via a pterodactyl? I mean, I don't know. You never know. It could have happened. The dinosaurs could have been temporarily revived for just a moment. And been like, whoa. Here I am. I've arrived. Wait. Aha! As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Sorin Sprocket entering the hold. Defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright. Can you actually prove that another route exists? Can I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you ask? Not yet. Well, now that I really think about it, I guess it's going to be hard to prove. But I can't back down now. The trial will be over if I do. There's only one thing I can do at a time like this. See, I love non-answers like that. It means like, yeah, guess what? Boom. You can just be like, if I can't prove it, then I guess I can prove it, apparently. Whoops! Ooh, awesome. I can prove it. Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that can prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Show us how Mr. Sprocket got into the Vista deck. Mr. Sprocket made for the Vista deck through here. This doesn't really tell me jack squat now, does it? Maybe the emergency exit? Take that! To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way alongside the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? Very dangerous, though. Seems possible, just very unlikely, though. That'll certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck. Objection.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. I have to agree, the defense claim is really stretching it.
I understand how it sounds, Your Honor.
But at this point, it's too early to definitively say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with then, I take it?
Of course, Your Honor.
This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. You have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claims.
I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of? Actually, I have nothing. I'll just have to wing it somehow.
On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside?
My theory that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the danger is based on the power of authority, the power of love, the power of money. What? None of these have any true basis, really. Like, I mean, power of love, I guess? To save the bride he loves, the groom risked his life and rushed to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger. Because of the power of love.
The power of love?
Dot 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 dot. Would have been nice to say the power of money as a joke answer, though. Or the power of authority, because I don't know, those would have been probably funny as joke answers, but the strikes, man. The freaking strikes.
That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I can relate thanks to my own long, happy marriage.
I wonder if I'll ever meet the judge's wife. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it.
Objection.
The power of love, you say? That kind of illogical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Would you agree, Your Honor? I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get... married... Which I won't.
Sure.
Dot 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 dot. Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed?
Way to set him off, Your Honor.
Never mind all the unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime, there was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck? Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch.
Whoops! They'd be... Oh, I thought you were saying they'd be sliced up or something.
They'd be blown away in an instant.
Ugh!
Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible.
I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst times are when the lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia looking at me through Maya's eyes. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. You know, this also reminds me of another thing. Why do we not just channel Mia again like old times' sake, you know? We haven't seen her in so many years, after all. I mean, heck, it'd be nice to see her again. There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. So I'm wondering how Sorin could have moved past that huge propeller. I think about what would have made it impossible for him to do so.
Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes a ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your ruling before...
Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory.
What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces.
If you think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it.
Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have even remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth.
Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Sorin could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller.
Now then, Mr. Wright, what specifically would have made it possible?
This is how it could have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the Vista deck. He got to the deck some other way. The airship wasn't flying. The propellers were broken. I mean, if the propellers were broken, that means the airship wasn't flying. So, I mean, those kind of would be the same thing, basically, right? So, the airship wasn't flying. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers is the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime.
The location of the flying chapel, but wasn't it flying high in the sky?
No, Your Honor, I'm afraid it wasn't.
What? Then where was it?
At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more to the ground.
What?
And if the airship wasn't flying, that means the propellers weren't turning. In which case, oh yeah, Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the Vista deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? Okay. Wait, did he just stab himself with his own pen? I don't remember. Ow, he stabbed himself with his pencil. That's gonna leave a mark.
Objection!
If the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way.
Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love.
Yes, the amazing power of love. Not this again. Very well, for the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move alongside the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright?
Well, excuse me. I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time.
You can prove it, can you?
Urgh. Mike, can you think of anything we can use to prove it? Can't say I can. Oh, wait. Didn't somebody see something outside a window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. A piece of evidence that shows what was outside of the airship.
Well, what are you waiting for?
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime. I could only assume Larry's drawing.
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the murder.
What kind of lousy drawing is that?
It's a drawing made by Larry Butts.
And what can you prove with that poor attempted artistry?
Larry made this drawing before he switched to lanterns, so it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now if I could direct the court's attention here. Excuse me.
Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean that the airship actually went back in time to the Cretaceous period?
Objection!
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not?
We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. This drawing shows us an important piece of information. It shows that the airship was actually moored to the ground. How?
And what makes you so sure?
That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. Uh-huh. Go on.
Larry.
That's right. It was Mr. Butts, and we both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl.
I can't argue with you there.
Hey, wait just one doggone second here. What kind of moron you guys take me for? I saw it with my own eyes. A pterodactyl flew right by the window, I tell you. I have the sharp eyes of an artist, don't you believe me?
No.
Nick! Nope. Some friends you guys are. What about the judge? You believe me, right, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. Bailiff, if you would. Come on, buddy, let's go.
Why doesn't anybody believe me? Whoops. Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're just being, well, you.
Now then. So you're saying that what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder?
Yes, Your Honor. At least I think it does. What this pterodactyl really is will prove the airship was anchored at the mooring dock. It better, anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust.
If you're that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was.
Yes, Your Honor. Think, Phoenix. What could that pterodactyl have actually been? Something out here? I was thinking Sorin Sprocket was the pterodactyl he saw. Well, I have no idea, but I think whatever it might have been, we'll go ahead and present that on the next exciting episode, everyone. So until then, I'll see y'all later. What do you think the pterodactyl is, everyone? Could it be this tower right here? Could it be this thing right over here? Could it be the bench? Could it be the sign? Could it be the wings? Seems really unlikely, doesn't it? Seems very, very unlikely. I actually have no idea, honestly. The Ferris wheel? Dude, I literally got no idea. I have no idea, but we'll find out what it is next episode, one way or another. No matter how many guilty verdicts come out of this, we will find out the truth. Until then, everyone, I'll see you all later. Have a good one, and see you later. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. You've reached the end of this video, but before we go for the day, I'd just like to give a quick shout-out to the Tier 4 and 5 channel members, Phoenix Edgeworth, Acheron X2, Menthy, and Meister Papala. Thank you all for being awesome and supporting the channel. If you too would like to also get your name shouted out at the end of each video and live stream, shoutouts are available for all Tier 4 and 5 channel members. I hope you all have an awesome day. I'll see you all later.